Welcome to Ghouls Night Out with your hostesses, Brandee and Jodi.
Hello, beautiful ghouls. Welcome. This is Brandee. I'm here with my sister, Jodi.
Hello.
So I had a stupid joke to start. What is the last thing that goes through a bug's mind when it hits a windshield?
Oh, shit.
No, it's butt.
Oh, my gosh. I'm like, what?
So kind of oh shit, but
Not really. So, remember last week when I was telling you about my work?
yes.
And I told you we were talking about nuts?
Yeah.
Well, this week, I had a phone call and we were talking about lube.
Oh my gosh.
Because a lot of our parts take lubrication, you know. So I'm talking to this guy about lube. And, you know, I'm still kind of new to the job, so I had to ask a question. So I go back and I'm talking to one of my coworkers, and we're talking about lube. And then I get back, and I kept trying to say lubrication, you know, but he kept saying lube, and I'm like, oh my God.
That's hilarious. Get your mind out of the gutter, Jay.
Well, I know. I can't help it. It's because it's like in one conversation, you have to say it over and over and over. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Nuts and lube. All right.
They start talking about dicks. I'm just done.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. I ran into something this week. Have you ever heard of what was it called? Randonautica?
No.
This is a new app. It's an app that you get, and it takes you on kind of like an adventure.
Uh-huh. And
it basically what it does is it takes it's random. So it's kind of like, remember when they did the app that was mainly for kids where they would tell them to go places?
The Pokemon Go
yes,
thing?
yes. So it's kind of like that.
Okay.
But it's more for adults.
Huh.
So basically what it is, you get this app, and then you're supposed to sit there and think about what you want.
Okay.
And then you put in the information, and it's not, you don't put in what you want. You just start the app, basically.
Okay.
And then it randomly does something, and you just go wherever it tells you to go. So I watched a couple videos on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
And it's mainly for teenagers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who's been doing it.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, they were like exploring these, they would find like weird places, and it's supposed to be like within a certain radius of where you live.
Yeah.
And it like took them to like abandoned places.
That's
and
cool.
I know there was this one where it took them to this road. So they just kind of stopped, you know, on the side of the road and was just like looking around. You're supposed to look for like weird stuff. Like, and there was this dog in the middle of the street, and it wasn't moving. It was just standing there. And then it said 5 minutes later, and it's still just standing there. It hasn't moved at all.
What the heck?
So it's like, is that a glitch or, just
gosh.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
So if you bring up the app, and then you hit the Randonaut button, and it says choose quantum point type. So it has anomaly, attractor, which I don't know, void, and pseudo. I don't know what those mean, but I'll pick anomaly. So you pick it, and then it says select RNG. I don't know what that is, but it's ANU is one of the things, and then temporal. I don't know what that means either. We'll do temporal. And then select generation option, internet. So it says, set your intention. Before you embark on your adventure, take a moment to set an intention for your trip. This can be a word or a phrase to help create the story for the journey ahead. Use a clear mind, focused thought, and visualization. When you're done, hit start, and the QRNG, I don't know what that is, will quantumly generate your destination.
Interesting.
So I think we should do it.
I was going to say we should do it and record it.
Yeah.
Somehow. Probably just on our phone, so the audio might not be great, but
yeah,
that would be fun.
I know.
I want to see a glitch dog.
I know. I was like, that sounds cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, they were walking through woods, and
that's cool. I want to do it.
I know.
When should we do it?
I don't know.
We got to pick a good day because weather sucks right now.
I know it does.
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out.
I know.
We'll do it, and we'll definitely do it and record it and release it at some point.
So, and I don't remember where I heard it either, but I was like, that sounds interesting. So I started looking it up and stuff. And
that does sound. That's cool.
I know.
I want to know what void is.
I know.
Is that like one of those portals that are?
And I watched a video of the creator that did it.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's random. So if it takes you to a spot and you look around, you don't see anything or whatever, you can start it over and do it, until, it takes you somewhere.
Where you see something?
Yeah, I guess.
Ooh. I'm very interested in that.
There was one video I watched where it took them they were in the woods and they came across a tent. It wasn't like a campground. It was like in the middle of the woods.
Ooh, weird.
But no one was there. And then they walked a little bit further, and then there was these wooden, like, they looked almost like tents, but they were made out of like sticks of wood. And there was nobody there either. It was weird. Crazy. It was just strange.
We might even be able to like take video and post it on Facebook or something. We should you should come over to my house because I live in a very rural area.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've never explored around there or anything. That would be very interesting.
That would be fun.
It would be fun. We should totally do that very soon.
Yes. We have to do it during the day, though.
Absolutely.
I'm not going in the woods at night or whatever.
I'm interested. I'm not that interested. Enough to die over it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it will be fun.
So yeah, if you guys do that, let us know. We want to know.
Yeah,
that's cool. Okay, so have you ever heard of the Reddit page where the people ask the internet if they think that they're wrong or if the person that they're debating with is wrong? It's called Am I the Asshole? It's a Reddit page. Well, I copied and pasted some of the stories, and we're going to discuss, and we're going to see if we think that they are the asshole or if the other person is.
Okay.
So, and I got these off of Ranker. It's a Reddit page, but I got this off of Ranker, and people had been voting off of it, so I'm just going in order. So we might start off with like a big asshole and then end with a not so much asshole, but I just figured it would be kind of fun to debate. Okay, so first one is from Lasagna Problems. My girlfriend and I are both college students. She lives in an apartment on her own, and I live with my parents. On Sunday night, my girlfriend made homemade lasagna for our date night. She made everything from scratch, including the noodles. It was really good, so after we finished, I asked if I could take lasagna home for my family to try. She said yes. When I left that night, I took the tray of lasagna with me. My girlfriend didn't walk me out, so she didn't see me take the tray. On Monday, I got a text from my girlfriend asking where her lasagna was. I told her I had taken it home for my family. She said, I thought you were going to take some, not the whole thing. I spent most of my food budget for the week on it and the intention to eat leftovers for the rest of the week. Now I don't know what I'm going to eat. I felt bad and apologized, but pointed out that I had asked her if I could take it home, and she didn't tell me that I couldn't take the whole thing. She said it should have been obvious that I shouldn't take the whole thing since the tray was so big. To be fair to her, it really was a big tray. My family of 5 only just finished the tray yesterday after eating it for dinner both nights.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't think the size of the tray makes it obvious that I shouldn't take it. Monday night and last night, my girlfriend complained that she had to eat instant noodles for dinner so that she wouldn't blow her food budget. Today, she's asking me if I can buy her a sandwich since I took the leftovers for the week. It sucks that I spent her food budget on lasagna, but I think it is her fault for not being clear that I shouldn't take the whole thing. I don't think she is justified in asking me to buy her lunch because of it. She called me an asshole for not being willing to help her out. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely.
And not because he took the lasagna necessarily, but because he won't help her out now.
No. I think he's an asshole all the way around. Because when you go to someone's house and you eat, dinner, whatever, and you take some home, the intention is never to take the whole
thing.
Yeah.
And especially if she made that much for just the two of them, it kind of should have been pretty obvious that wasn't just for that night.
And when at the very beginning, when you read that he asked if he could take some to his family, I immediately thought some, not all of it.
Right. Okay, and then not to help her out with a fucking sandwich. Go fuck yourself.
Really? He's at home?
Yeah.
And he can't get her a sandwich?
Yeah, what an asshole.
Yes.
Totally the asshole. Okay, next one is from a former Redditor. It just starts, she has been breastfeeding for 6 months since the baby was born and now wants to switch to formula. She makes plenty of milk and everything. She just said she, quote, feels done. I think if she wants to stop for basically no reason, then the money from the formula should come out of her personal spending money because she is the one making that decision. She says, I'm an asshole and it should come from the family grocery budget, which is already tight, even though I don't have a say. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
If she is done, she is done.
She has that say.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Have you ever breastfed a baby?
No.
It's worse than labor. It hurts. And I don't know if it's just, it might just be me because a lot of women, they're like, oh yeah, it hurts a little at first, but then it goes away. No. Oh no. I breastfed, especially Tyrion, for 6 months, I believe. That it never stopped hurting. And I would have to brace myself for her to attach.
Yeah.
It hurt so, but they would bleed and crack and oh my God, it was the worst. It's the worst pain. So yes, if she doesn't want to,
even if it wasn't because of pain. Yeah. It's her decision.
Absolutely. It's her body.
Baby.
Yeah.
So yes, he needs to feed the baby.
Yes.
He is definitely the asshole.
Absolutely. Okay. Next one is from Resident Occasion. I'm the VP of a sales, and I just want to say I haven't read any of these because I wanted to discuss, so we all know. Okay. I'm the VP of sales at a software company, and one of our sales department reps' parents passed away at the beginning of April. Sadly, they were involved in a car collision and both lost their lives. Oh my God, that's horrible. Now the employee in question is very young, a 22-year-old guy, and has been with us for about 10 months now. He's a great employee, and we were thinking about promotions in the next 6 months for him. His job is a high-paying one for a new grad, about $90K with commission and base, so we expect a lot from this position. Because of the mishap, we let him take a month off paid leave of absence from work, and he's returned a few weeks ago, and his performance is severely lacking. He's super unmotivated, not cold calling, outreaching to prospects for the last 2 to 3 weeks enough since he's come back. Did that make any sense to you?
Kinda.
He's just not doing well.
Yeah.
Our whole management team has noticed this, and we decided to let him go because we feel like he'd need months and months to be able to produce again, and we can't wait that long. We called him into a meeting on Friday afternoon and gave him the bad news. He was very calm and rude about it. Told us to go fuck ourselves and got out and went to his desk, grabbed a few things and left. I thought this was very, very unprofessional and extremely rude. I told my boyfriend about all of this, and he said myself and my management team are a bunch of assholes and pricks with no hearts. Am I the asshole for firing him?
Wow, that one's a hard one.
That is hard. Losing both your parents that young.
That's going to take a long time to get over.
But it's your job, and they expect you to get paid for what you do. And $90K for a 22-year-old?
Shit, yeah, I know. You read that, and I was like, what?
That is insane.
That is.
Oh, my God.
But they hadn't even, I don't think they'd given it to him yet, had they?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. He was in it, and they were thinking of, like, more promotions for him. Like, he was in a good position.
Yeah.
That's hard. Both of his parents at 22. That's devastating.
Horrible. Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard.
That is hard. That is hard.
I think I would have given him a little bit longer than a month.
Yeah, because that's nothing.
Yeah,
I would have given him. Yeah, I think they are the assholes.
They are.
I would have given them some more time to.
And then to call him unprofessional and rude, go fuck yourself.
I mean, try to help him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, offer
what
him,
can we do? Because you're lacking.
Check their insurance to see if they've got counseling that they could do. Something.
Yeah, they could have done something.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have done that in a much better way.
Yeah, especially if he was such a good employee to begin with.
Yeah. You know he would probably bounce back at some point.
Yeah.
But give him a little time.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Ridiculous.
Okay, next one. From a former Redditor. I was with my ex for 7 years. At the time, she had a 2-year-old daughter, and when we split, her daughter was 9 years old. She called me dad pretty quickly, plus we all lived together. I thought we'd become a family proper through marriage eventually, but obviously things didn't pan out and we split. It was amicable and we're still friends. Her daughter is 14 now and still calls me dad. My ex hasn't started dating again, but I'm engaged to my soon-to-be wife. We all get along, but my fiance doesn't like that the kiddo calls me dad. I'm not her dad, biologically or otherwise, but I was still a father figure for 7 years, and even beyond this, I'm still involved in her life. My fiance wants me to put the kibosh on this because it makes her uncomfortable. We want to start a family of our own soon, and my fiancé wants my undivided attention on our child. I can see her point, although I'm indifferent to the whole dad situation. If she calls me dad, whatever, but I must relent to my fiancé's wishes because I'm not opposed to her thoughts or anything. I'm going to have a sit down with my ex and her daughter and split ties to focus on my own family, but would I be the asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
I think the fiance is an asshole.
That's exactly who it is, because it's not about the past relationship.
It's not about the kid at all. It's not about the kid. It's about...
You mean to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That I was saying, like, it's not about his former relationship with this woman.
Yeah.
It's this child
exactly
that looked up to him.
That was her dad for how many years?
7.
Yeah.
7 years of her small life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fiance can go fuck herself.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
We ain't doing asshole on that one. That's total straight up bitch.
And then that's kind of putting that guy in a bad position because I understand, like, he doesn't give a shit. Call me dad. It sounds like he still has feelings for her.
Well, yeah, of course he does. You can't spend 7 years with a child and not grow attached.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't happen.
They're babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bitch needs to calm down.
I think he needs to call off the wedding.
Yeah.
But I think.
Don't have kids with that bitch.
Yeah. Well, imagine how she would be if they split up.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's a red flag.
Exactly. Oh, God. Okay. Next one. My wife is 29. I'm 32. Share cooking responsibilities about 50-50. We're childless, so we just cook for ourselves. We have a system where we try to plan out our dinners and a few days in advance. We both work full time and get off around 4:30, so it's important for us to know what we want. Late last week, I had gotten somewhat sick with a stomach virus and was still recovering. However, the day I got really nauseated, I ate a salad and a small burger and threw everything up. You know, when you eat something while nauseous and throw it up, you just kind of turn against it. Well, that's what happened. So I warned my wife on Saturday this week, I want no salad or burgers, and she said okay. Today we got home from work, and I asked what we were eating since we were both indecisive. She said she didn't know, but would get it started. I told her I was going to go take a shower and would be down. As soon as I exit the shower, I smell meat cooking. I go down, and she's literally made hamburgers. I told her, hey, I thought we agreed no burgers for a while after I got sick. She replied, well, there isn't anything else to eat, so this is what we're having. Besides, you aren't sick anymore. I sat in stunned silence for the remainder of the cooking, and when she gave me the plate, I got up and threw it in the garbage, and we got into a spat. I then yelled, you did the exact fucking opposite of what I said not to do, and I kicked the trash can, and then told her I was leaving to go out to eat. I slammed the door and sped off. She texted me calling me rude. I ignored her and enjoyed my meal outside. Am I the asshole?
I would say no. Because, okay, say they had hamburger. You can make all kinds of stuff out of hamburger.
Well, what if they were like just the frozen hamburgers and that's all they had? So she was like, well, fuck it.
I still think you could have made something else.
She probably could have put a little bit more thought into it.
Yeah.
Even if he ended up going out, why didn't she just be like, hey, why don't we just order out?
Yeah.
Get a pizza or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think either one, like, okay, first of all, you don't have kids. Get the fuck over it. Like, you can eat whatever you want. You suck.
Yeah.
I want to say that, first of all. You don't have to make a dinner for 4 every night, so
Yeah.
fuck you. Second of all, like, I think he could have handled it a little different, but so could she.
Yeah. I think they're both.
Yeah, they
assholes.
were both in the fault for that one. But again, you're single people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, each can eat whatever you want.
Exactly.
Go fuck yourself.
You don't have to worry about any kids to feed.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
eat a freaking bowl of cereal.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. This one has lots of capitalization. Let's go with this one. Okay. This one's got a really, really messed up name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. I was in a higher ed department store today. Rhymes with looming tales. And happened to end up next to two teenage aged girls while shopping. One of the girls had picked out a pair of very expensive boots, and they were both fawning over them. Second girl must have looked at the price tag and asked Boots Girl if she was really going to spend that much money on boots. The girl with the boots said something along the lines of, "It's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not paying," which instantly caught my attention because that's not her card. I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my cards, so I'm interested to see if this girl thinks she's going to get away with fraud, but had to split up from these girls at some point because they had found something else. We end up at the same cash register. She's behind me, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. The girl is about to swipe her card when I decide I can't let her get away with something like this, and someone has to parent this kid if no one else will. I tell the cashier that it isn't her card, but her father's. I'm not sure she has his permission. The girl and their friend turn and glare at me, giving me possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I swear this girl was going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think she's ever been told no. Girls tell cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card, and it gives him the points. Now that I've pointed out that it wasn't her card, the cashier tells her that she can't use that card. The girl tries to show ID to prove they have the same last name, and I tell her it's still fraud. The girl says that it's not fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I tell her that it is my business and she's doing something illegal and she needs to pay with her own card or I'll call the cops. Girl is pissed now, and people are glaring at me. She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me, and I tell my husband when I get home, only for him to agree I was in the wrong. Am I the asshole?
Yeah.
Fuck yes, you
None
are.
of her
Mind your own
business.
damn business.
Yeah.
Bitch. Mind your own business. I hate people like that.
Yep, definitely.
Especially, like, if she involved her somehow, and then she was like, you know what? That doesn't seem right. But she happened to hear their conversation.
Yeah.
Go fuck
None of
yourself.
her business
Absolutely.
at all.
Yeah, I hate people like that.
Now, if she said she had someone's card that she had no idea who it was.
If she's like, oh, I stole this shit.
Yeah.
Let's go shopping.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
But yeah. And mind your own business.
Yeah.
And for her to say, well, I'm going to parent this person, even if so, like she doesn't.
It's not her. Yeah,
No,
that's not her place.
No, absolutely not. And you don't know if her dad gave her that card.
He most likely did.
Probably. What a bitch. I'm a 40 male. My wife is 39. Son is 15. Yesterday, when it was dinner time, I called him to come downstairs a few times. He didn't answer me, so I assumed that he didn't hear me. I went upstairs and knocked on his door, and he said he'd come down in a few minutes. After 15 minutes, he still didn't come downstairs, so I walked in his room. I knocked first. He was obviously crying. I asked him what was wrong, but he didn't answer me, so I didn't push him more. I went downstairs and told my wife about it. She went upstairs to talk to him and stayed there for a half an hour. She came back and brought him food. When I asked her what was wrong, she said that it wasn't anything important and told me to drop it. I kind of got upset because I want to know what was wrong, and I'm his parent as well. I haven't been fully ignoring them, but I've been kind of acting distant since yesterday. My wife got mad at me and said that I was acting extremely immature. Am I the asshole? I don't think he's an asshole.
No.
But I don't think he should be upset either.
No.
Sometimes a child wants to talk to one parent more than the other, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's usually the mom.
Exactly.
That's how it is.
Yeah, moms are more understandable usually.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's the word I'm looking for? Patient maybe, or kinder sometimes.
Motherly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's nothing to be upset about.
No.
That actually literally happened today. I picked Aaron up. We were driving in the car, and Tyrion called, and I have my phone connected to my radio, so I just hit the button, and she literally was like, "Is Dad in the car?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, never mind." But it was a girl thing. It had nothing to do with him. So yeah. It's just sometimes they just want to talk to one parent, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So.
As long as they're talking to some parent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. He should be grateful that he's just not crying in there and just like won't talk to anybody.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, next one. This will be my last one.
Okay.
This is from another former Redditor. We got married last month. We were fighting a lot because I wanted my husband to help out more with the planning, but he was just half-assing it despite me saying how important it was to me. He kept saying he didn't want a big wedding, so if I wanted one, then I can't force him to pore over wedding magazines and drag him to expos with me every weekend. Anyways, we ended up hosting a big party with 250 plus people. My parents paid for 80% of it because his parents were also dragging their feet with their contribution. It ended up being nearly 90% of people from my side of the family coming as well. Now it's time to sort the wedding gifts, and we received nearly $10,000 in monetary gifts. Husband and I have separate finances. I want to keep the whole $10,000 because 1, he didn't help, and 2, his parents didn't help, and 3, the people giving the money was all my family. I told him I'm keeping all the money in my account, and he got pissed at me, calling me a princess. My parents support this move, but my siblings are telling me to split the money, maybe not 50-50, but give him a share. Am I the asshole? I'm going to say yes. because you married this person. He is now part of your family. And I'm not saying, I think they should open up a joint account and stick it in there. Or, you know, like something, not necessarily split it, because like, why are your finances separate? But, you know,
a lot of people do that.
I know, but a lot of people have their separate things and then they've got one joint.
Yeah.
And I think they should open up a savings account and stick it in there.
Yeah.
With maybe
use it for, you know, house stuff or
exactly.
groceries or whatever.
Or even just save it.
Yeah.
That's $10K. That is, you know, that's a great start for a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
If they need something, spend that money. But you're family now. You married this person. You better get used to it. That's what I say.
That's I agree.
So yeah, I kind of think you are the asshole in this situation. I might. Do you like those? I might do those.
Those are pretty good.
There's a ton of them. It's like a whole Reddit page. So I might do that for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Well, those were my stories for the beginning.
All right. I've got some spooky stories. Okay, so my first story. In high school, I was obsessed with movies and wanted to be a director when I grew up. My parents saved up and bought me a camcorder, and I spent money from my after-school job at a restaurant buying tapes and editing equipment to play around with. A few months after my next-door neighbor died, his wife had a huge garage sale. And though my neighbor had never told me he shared my interest in making home movies, I found a bunch of blank camcorder tapes at the sale, and his wife ended up giving them to me for free.
Oh, nice.
I went home and put the tape in and watched in horror as I realized how upsetting the contents were.
Oh, God.
Tape after tape, I found footage of my home and the area around my home taken from outside the windows, as my family and I remained oblivious. My bedroom seemed to be his favorite to work outside, and you can often see the inside clearly if I left the blinds open.
Oh, no.
He would just stand there and breathe and record whatever was happening inside. It was chilling enough until I saw footage of a cabin about an hour and a half from my home, where I'd gone with some friends the previous summer. He had been outside the cabin filming and had even gone inside to film our beds and go through our stuff while we were gone into town for groceries. It seems strange that his wife wouldn't have checked the tapes to see what was on them, given that her husband had just passed away and she could be getting rid of irreplaceable family memories. But then again, maybe she had an intuition about what she would find and the kind of person her late husband really was.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that creepy?
That is beyond. Do you think she knew what was on them and she was like, yes, take them?
I wondered that when I read that story.
Oh, my God. Did that say if that was male or female?
No, but I'm assuming it's a female.
Oh, my God. That is fucking creepy. No. I don't like it. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my God, what'd they find on the videos? This is so exciting. And then, ew!
I got this from a book from Lane Loomis. It's 101 True Scary Stories to Read in Bed Tonight.
All right.
Okay. My next one. I'm a big guy, so not a lot scares me. I used to be in the habit of walking in the middle of the night when I had insomnia. I hated lying in bed waiting to fall asleep, so instead of tossing and turning, I'd get up and walk around my neighborhood for an hour, and then I'd fall back into bed, dead tired, and sleep. One night, I'd taken an even longer walk than usual, convinced that returning home anything less than completely exhausted would be a waste. I found myself on the deserted grounds of the town's high school soccer fields, the school on one side and the woods on the other. I decided to cut through the field to the street that would eventually take me home. About halfway through the field, I saw something in the near darkness towards the very edge of the woods. Half a dozen shadows emerged from the forest and started walking toward me, slowly but steadily. I shouted hello to them, but no one responded. They just kept walking towards me. I turned around and saw that behind me a similar group of people had come from the woods and started to spread out in a kind of semicircle around me.
Is it a dance-off?
I turned around again and booked it toward the school. I'm lucky I was in shape from all those nighttime walks. I have no idea who those people were or what they would have done if I hadn't been able to get away. That was the last night I took an insomnia walk.
Oh my god!
That is so creepy. What the heck were they doing?
Oh my god.
And it wasn't a dance-off. Although that would be hilarious.
Oh my god, could you imagine if he was like standing there and they all just started...
But what's so creepy about it is that it's in the middle of the freaking night.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like, what, 24 people in a line? What the fuck?
Crazy.
Ew, that is creepy. I love it.
As I was pulling my car into the driveway late one night, my headlights illuminated two people in my living room.
What?
I owned my home and lived alone. I immediately put the car in reverse and called the cops. I waited for them to get in the driveway before I returned. I sat out there while they searched the whole house, and they couldn't find any trace of anyone
Oh my god.
breaking in or even being in my house. When I went inside, I saw nothing was out of place. I convinced myself that it had been a long week at work, and my mind was playing tricks on me. Maybe it was a weird reflection from my lights in the window. That is, until I talked to my neighbor a few days later, and he told me he saw a couple going into my house the evening in question. He thought I knew them because they seemed to have a key.
What?
That's
Ew.
weird.
That's weird. Ooh, have you ever seen those videos on YouTube where people live in people's attic, and when they go to sleep, they like come down and
I
eat
haven't
their
seen
food?
the videos, but I've heard of it before.
Scary shit.
Yeah.
We actually watched a movie the other, like, few weeks ago. I don't even know what it was called, but it was about these kids, and they call it, I think, frogging.
I think I saw that movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where they wait till the person leaves and then they run into their garage before the garage closes, and then they live in their house.
Yep.
So scary.
There's no way that could happen in my house.
Oh my gosh, I know. I thought that too. I'm like, you have to be rich with a gigantic house for that to work. But
I mean, all I'd have to do is walk 5 feet. What the fuck are you doing in my house? Get out.
seriously, you'd be like, you think there's anywhere to hide in here?
There's nowhere to hide in here.
That's creepy. So I wonder if there was a couple in his house.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I would die. I'd be so scared to go back in there.
I'd be changing all the locks.
Is it, are they real? Are they ghosts?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know. All right. Let's see. In high school, there was a home on my block that was constantly between occupants. For whatever reason, it just changed hands a lot. We joked that perhaps the house was haunted, but my high school self wasn't worried about that at all. I used to sneak in through an unlocked basement window and hang out there alone and veg out when I needed space. Frequently... That sounded weird. I'd be there alone for a few hours listening to music on my headphones. One Saturday afternoon, I was hanging at the empty house listening to music and staring off into space. I was laying on my back and didn't notice anything weird happening. That's the afternoon I realized I wasn't the only one who liked to hang out at that empty house. When I packed up my stuff a few hours later and went down into the basement to leave through the window, I passed by the door to the room I'd been hanging out in. Someone had etched into the back of the door a crude drawing. It wasn't well done, but even with my adrenaline going, I could tell it was supposed to be a sketch of me laying on the floor, my headphones wrapped around my head. Underneath it, scratched into the door, was the word friend.
Ooh, God.
Ew, creepy.
Ew, what?
I bet that person didn't hang out in that house anymore.
No. Oh, that's creepy.
In 8th grade, my family moved into a house where another family had lived before. I found out from the kids in the neighborhood that they moved away after the family's 4-year-old daughter was killed in the home in a freak accident.
Aww.
The mother was leaving for work and accidentally ran the kid over in the driveway.
Oh my God.
Everyone felt really bad for them and understood why they moved away. Right after with their other daughter, who was 13 or so at the time. I never told anyone, but some nights I swear I could hear a little girl crying somewhere in the house. At first, it was so real that I wandered around the house convinced that somehow a kid had gotten lost and needed help. But I never found any real person making the noises. This went on for a few years, and I just got used to it. 5 years later, I was leaving for college, and my mom was going to turn my room into a nice guest room where I'd stay when I came home, but she could also use it as an office most of the time. One of my jobs was to strip the entire room of the wallpaper that had been there since before we moved in. I got to a section in the closet and noticed it was patched in with glue as if it had been stripped away and then hastily replaced. I scratched around the corners until a small section of wallpaper easily came off. Underneath, in black ink, someone had written, "It wasn't an accident. They're going to hurt me too."
What?
Yeah, that crazy.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills. Oh my god, was that the 13-year-old
I
girl?
don't know.
Oh my god, it wasn't an accident? Oh my gosh. I don't like it. That is creepy.
I know. All right. When my wife and I first got married, I worked nights, which left her alone in our rental house in a crummy part of town. It wasn't ideal, but it paid better than the other shifts, and we were trying to save money to start our lives together. One night, I was at work and on break when I got a call from my wife. It was 1 a.m, so I already knew something was wrong, and she wouldn't speak on the phone. She was just... Wait. Yeah. I already knew something was wrong, and she wouldn't speak on the phone. She was just sobbing uncontrollably. Oh, no. The call ended, and subsequent calls to her phone weren't answered, so I drove home frantically to see what was going on. I parked in the driveway and ran upstairs, noticing on the way that the power was off in the house because none of the lights would turn on. When I got to the bedroom, I found my wife asleep in bed. I woke her up, and she had no recollection of calling me and said she had gone to sleep like normal. We checked her phone, and there was indeed an outgoing call to me, but her phone was plugged in on the dresser out of her reach from bed.
Oh my God.
After I calmed down and we laughed at how weird the situation was, I began to investigate why the power was off in the house. Finally, I went outside to discover that the power line had been cut. To me, that meant only one thing. Someone was planning on breaking in, and I had interrupted them in the process.
Shut up. Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
That one gave me chills.
I still have chills. I had chills when you first started reading that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Who called him?
I don't know. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. I love it.
And this is my last one. Unfortunately, as if a severe form of mental illness runs in my family, and I grew up visiting a few different relatives in psychiatric wards. I know it doesn't sound like the place for a kid. It always scared the shit out of me, but it's family, and my dad would always lecture me about how lonely these people were and how they needed to be reminded of family and people who love them. One day I was tagging along behind my dad when a resident I didn't know shuffled up to me and held out their hands as if they had a gift for me. I thought maybe they were going to give me a piece of candy, so I opened my hand. They dropped a human eyeball into it.
No!
I found out later they had gouged it out of their roommate's face while they slept, and no one had noticed yet. Dad never brought me to the psych ward again.
Oh my God! Ew! That's horrifying. Oh my God. That poor kid. Oh my God.
They'd be traumatized for life.
Yes. Oh my God. That's horrible. Oh my gosh.
Weren't those good stories?
Yes, I love that. Those are great. All right. I have some stories. I got mine also from a book called The True Ghost Stories Archive, Volume 5, 9 Tiny and Terrifying Tales.
Ooh.
90. Did I say 9?
Yeah.
Oops. I don't have 90.
Okay.
But okay, first one called Boy's Ghost. Boy's Ghost, date received January 1999. So these were like, I think it was a website that people submitted ghost stories. So that's what we want people to do. So email in your stories. GhoulsNightOutPodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear them. Anything.
Anything at all.
Anything. Okay, and this book was written by Elizabeth Busch, I believe. Busch.
Sounds right to me.
Bush or Butch? I'm going to say Bush.
Okay.
Okay. My wife and I have a big Victorian house, which is made up of 2 houses. The first is a log cabin, which was built in 1830, and then the Victorian part was built on and around the log cabin in the early 1900s, which sounds awesome.
Yes, it does.
All the rooms on the first floor open into a large hall. One evening, my wife and I were watching TV in the living room. I was sitting on the couch, which is directly in line with the door of the hall. A little boy around the age of 7 came running around the corner and into the room, where he came to a sudden stop when he saw me sitting there. He was as clear as anyone else you would see, and he was wearing blue jeans and a red and white striped t-shirt. He was a real cute kid, and then he was gone. The thing that really troubled me about the sighting was that when he saw me, he looked like he had just seen a ghost.
Ooh, that's crazy.
I know!
That reminds me of that movie.
What?
Which one was actually the ghost?
The others?
Yes.
I know. Which it was totally the kids and the mom, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, that's like how
It's
old?
an
Like
old movie, yeah.
15 years old? Okay. Next one is called Mysterious Music. Date received September 1998. It began when we moved into the neighborhood on August 12, 1998. It was a large, spread-out neighborhood located deep in the Pine Barrens in a sleepy town in New Jersey. It began on the second night of our stay at exactly 10 o'clock. Loud, strange music echoed through the neighborhood, ethnic music with bongo drums, circus-like keyboard music, and men wailing strangely in minor keys. My dad got out of bed and went outside to try and find out the source of the strange rhythms. He found another family that was out looking for it too. But try as they might, they could not find the source, and they looked at every single house. The next day, as I told my friend Jessica about it, she nodded and told me that the music had been a mystery for years. She and other people think that they know where it's coming from and showed me a modern house on the corner. I accepted this until I got home and told my mom. She said there was no way because being a professor of music, she knew the difference between live and recorded music, and this was definitely live and so loud that if it really was coming from that house, it would be earth-shattering when anyone walked by it. And my dad gave no reports of being blasted when he walked by it. Sometime, Jessica and I were going to find out what really happened in the neighborhood to cause the ghost music, and I'm submitting this story because I would like some replies on what I should do and maybe some ideas about it.
That's interesting.
Mystery music.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Huh.
Next one is called Dump Truck. Received October 1998. I had just walked over to my neighbor's house to go to a small party she was holding for the neighborhood. It was 8:13 when I arrived. 10 minutes later, we watched a huge dump truck drive into the woods behind her house. We didn't think anything was going on back there, so we checked it out. We walked into the woods expecting to see a house being built, but there was nothing there, not even the truck. We walked back to her house, still wondering what was going on. Less than 15 minutes later, we heard a scream and an explosion. Everyone ran outside to see what was happening. We ran back to where we were before, where we had seen the explosion. There was absolutely nothing there, nothing even remotely close to there. The same thing has been happening every year now on the same date. This has been going on for the past 4 years.
Ooh.
Ghost explosion and dump trucks.
Really? That's
weird.
Yeah.
I would look in the history and see if anything was supposed to be built back there. Or it's crazy.
Because it's obviously residual.
Yeah, every year on the same date. That's absolutely residual. Crazy. Next one is called Butt Slapper. Date received June 1999. This event happened to my wife while I was away in the field. We were living in Hawaii at the time on the island of I'm going to say Oahu? Oahu?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
My wife and I were living in a small ground floor apartment on the north shore of the island in some Hawaiian island I can't pronounce. You have to understand that sometimes my wife can tell the future or she gets feelings, and she has a connection to the other side somehow. In this apartment, every time you walked down the hall towards the living room type area, you would always see a flash of light out of the corner of your eye. I mean, every time. There was no way it could be a car or anything like that because of an 8-foot privacy fence and the direction the road went. Now on with the actual happening. I wasn't at home because I was off playing G.I. Joe in the woods. My wife had come home from the beach one day and took a shower like always. When she was done, she bent down to wipe out the tub. She was still nude at this time, when she felt something smack her on her butt. She said it felt like a hand. My wife jumped up and looked around, but no one was there. The first thing she thought was that it was me, but there was no way because I wasn't home. The front door was locked as well, so you decide who it was. Could you imagine? Like, something, and again, we've talked about this so many times, something as mundane as getting out of the shower and wiping down the tub, and then someone slaps your ass? No.
That's not right.
Especially if you're naked, man. That is just so vulnerable. Oh, my God. That's horrifying.
That would be horrible.
Next one is called Old Lady Ghost. It was received June 1999. When I was 16 years old, my older brother and I went to his girlfriend's house. When we arrived, we knocked on the front door, but there was no answer. We went around to the back to see if she was in the backyard and try the back door. No success on both accounts. When we approached the front door of the house again, the main bedroom window curtain was pulled back, and standing there was a really old lady. Her hair was pulled back tightly, and she was wearing a black dress which was up to her neck in the old-fashioned style. She just stared at us, and we approached the front door again. When we knocked a second time, she moved away from the window as if she was coming to answer the door, but she didn't. After several seconds of knocking, the front gate opened, and we turned around. Coming up the path was my brother's girlfriend. We asked who the old lady staying in the house was, and she said, "What old lady?" When we went inside, there was no sign of the old woman. Later that night, I told the story to my grandmother. Her reply scared me. She said that house had been haunted for many years, even when she was a young girl. I am now 30 years old, and the house still stands today. It's vacant at the moment, and when I drive past at night, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. I included that story because it reminded me of my experience when I knocked on the window and totally saw someone going towards the door to open it for me, and I stood there and nothing. I was like, what the fuck?
She's like, psych!
I'll open the door for you. You just wait. You just wait right there. Next one is called Basement Window. Received June 1999. In 1985, my grandparents moved to Missouri where they rented a house. The house had an old basement with a window in one of its walls. The house was very old and the window showed it. The window was rusted shut, and no matter how hard they tried, my grandparents could not get this window open. One day when they went to the next town to see some relatives, and when they returned, they found the kitchen to be a mess, the oven on, food on the floor, and the pantry open. When they got home, they realized that a very cold draft was coming from the basement door. My grandpa went down to see what was causing the house to be so cold. When he got downstairs, he noticed that window was open. No one could have broken in because the small latch was lifted up as if someone had opened the window, and all the rest around the frame was gone. Since then, they have heard footsteps going up the basement stairs. One day, my grandma was talking to a neighbor about all the weird things that had been happening in the house, and the neighbor told her that before they moved in, the couple who lived there before had a son who was murdered by an intruder who pushed him down the basement stairs. The intruder had pulled him out of the house and buried him on the side of the house where the basement window was. From that day on, my grandma would wait for the ghost to come and would talk to him like a mother, and eventually he stopped coming around.
Aww.
That's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that I was thinking that when you were reading your story about the little girl, and that girl heard crying for like years.
Yeah.
I'm like, she should have tried to talk to her. And I mean, especially if she was murdered, that's poor little girl. Yeah, you should try. I mean, if you hear it over and over and over again, just at least try.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. I was listening to that Spooked, and there was a story about this woman who they had moved into this house, and it seemed like she could see ghosts, and there were 3 children, ghosts in her house, and she's like, they lived there for years, and she would buy them Christmas presents. Aww. And like they needed a mother, and she knew, and like they were getting ready to move, and she's like, I went up to the attic where they stayed, and she's like, I sat all of them down, I gave them all presents and told them that we were leaving, and she was like, she looked over, like when she was leaving the attic, she looked back and they were all standing there. Aww. And they were all sad, and I know. So yeah, they just want love too.
Yeah.
They were people once. Okay, my last one is called Pantry Door, submitted June 1999. Just before Christmas of 1997, the guy I was dating was shot and killed. I'll call him Mac. I was living at home, so he had to see my parents when he came to pick me up. My dad was very impressed with Mac's credentials, his education, and so on, but Mac disliked my father intensely. My father is a snob and a bully, and before I even told Mac much about him, he had a bad feeling about my dad. When Mac was killed, I was shocked and crying a lot. About 3 days after his death, I was sitting in my parents' kitchen crying a little, and my dad walked in. His first attempt at comforting me, my father said, "Boy, a master's degree from the University of Chicago and a PhD from Northwestern. What a waste." As he made his way out of the room, a pantry door swung open and hit my father in the face pretty hard. We've lived in that house for 25 years, and my father then said, "That's weird. That's never happened before." The door wasn't on a crooked hinge, and there was no wind blowing on it. I knew Mac was in the room doing what he must have wanted to do when he was alive.
That's hilarious.
I know. Those are my stories for the week.
Oh, okay. It's time for the witty wrap-up.
Yay, witty wrap-up!
I just have some more funny facts.
Okay.
Human birth control pills work on gorillas.
Ooh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. That really, like, how close are we?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I really want to know.
Exactly. France was still executing people by the guillotine when the first Star Wars movie came out.
I think I did that one before.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Yes. What was it, the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think it was like around...
I thought
when
73.
I was born. Yeah, 73.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All swans in England belong to the Queen.
Is that so?
Apparently.
Well, that's great.
No piece of square paper can be folded more than 7 times in half.
What?
That's what it says. So it must be true.
No, I don't believe that. What about a legal size piece of paper?
Well, that's not square. That's rectangle.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I bet if you got a big enough piece of paper, you could fold it.
Well, why don't you try it and let me know?
I will, and I will record it, and I will let you guys know how it goes.
Okay. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins.
What? What? Say that one more time.
The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins.
Okay.
Like with a hole in it, I guess?
Would it be thicker or just
I don't know.
a hole in it?
I don't know.
Weird. Why?
That would just be a washer.
Yes. People would try that too.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in rolls. Pennies. Yeah, it's a penny.
The hashtag key on your keyboard is called an octotroph.
Octotroph. That's my new word. Octotroph. That's, you said that's a hashtag?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to remember that.
No, you won't.
Octotroph Ghouls Night Out Podcast.
The Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper.
I think I knew that. I sound like Kermit again.
Alaska law says that you can't look at a moose from an airplane. That makes no sense. Why can't you look at a moose?
What?
If you're on an airplane?
Why? How would they know? Is the moose going to tell on you? Does the moose know?
Yeah, really. I have no clue.
Do they sense eyes on them?
They're just very shy and they don't want people looking at them.
Don't look at me from above. That's my bad angle. That's hilarious.
A duck's quack doesn't echo, and nobody can figure out why.
I bet it's because of the shape of their bills.
I know.
I bet they echo in their bills before they come out.
Okay.
Right.
In 1993, the entire city of San Francisco voted about whether a police officer...
I'm not done with the ducks.
Okay.
That's weird.
I know.
I would think it would have to be the shape of their bills.
I don't know.
I wonder if birds echo. They've got bills, but they're shaped differently. That's really
What
weird.
about geese? Aren't they shaped like duck bills?
Yeah.
I wonder if theirs echo.
That's really weird. And like swans?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Thanks. In 1993, the entire city of San Francisco voted about whether a police officer was allowed to carry a ventriloquist dummy called Brandon O'Smarty while on patrol. He was. I don't know.
What? So this police officer wanted to carry around a ventriloquist dummy.
Yes.
So they brought it to the townspeople
Yes.
and they had to vote on it?
Apparently.
What the fuck?
And they let him.
Oh my god. What? Why? Okay. Is this like the service animal kind of thing where he felt that...
I don't know.
Okay, did he talk through the ventriloquist dummy when he pulled people over?
Oh my god.
Okay, could you imagine getting a ticket from a ventriloquist dummy? Like, I have so many questions. What?
I don't know. It's
Oh
weird.
Oh my god. No, if you want to become a police officer, you better be fucking professional about it.
Yeah,
And
really.
leave your dummies at home. Oh my
Brandon
god.
O'Smarty.
That is insane.
What is called a French kiss in the English-speaking world is known as an English kiss in France.
Shut up. That's what it says. That's fantastic. I love it. That's great.
The Romans used to clean and whiten their teeth with urine. Apparently it works.
I think I've heard... What? It works?
That's what they say.
Ew, no. Ew, no.
That's nasty.
I would not. I'd rather have yellow teeth.
Yeah, I think so. Minnie Mouse's full name is Minerva Mouse.
What? Minerva?
Minerva.
I don't like it.
Well, that's why she goes by Minnie.
I see.
In Georgia, it is against the law to slap a man on the back or front.
No. I don't agree.
I don't think Georgia cares.
You can slap a man wherever you want.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
He'll like it.
There are more plastic flamingos in the U.S. than real ones.
I think I've done that one,
I think you have.
That's hilarious.
At any one time, about 0.7% of the world's population is drunk.
Fuck yeah. What was that again? What was it?
0.7%.
Really? That's
Yep.
really low. I would think it would be more than that.
I don't know.
That's fun.
315 entries in Webster's dictionary were misspelled.
Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
How many? 300?
315.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Get your shit together, Webster's dictionary. Jesus. 315? Come on.
There is a hotel in Sweden built entirely out of ice. It is rebuilt every year.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cold, though.
Crocodile poop used to be used as contraception.
Ew. Ew. What?
And how?
Ooh.
Do they have to eat it? Do they have to use it? That's gross.
And they just like rub it on their dick and hope for the best. Let me get some alligator poop, honey. Wait just a minute.
That's crocodile poop.
Or crocodile poop.
Not
Sorry. Crocodile. God, what?
And then the crocodile chomps off his pee-pee.
Oh. No sex for you.
That's how it's contraception.
Oh, I get it.
The crocodile
He goes
bites off his dick.
Finds the crocodile.
Yeah.
Tries to get the poop.
Yes.
It bites his dick off.
Yes.
And no sex.
No babies.
Yay. It works.
It totally works.
Oh my God.
Because metal was scarce, the Oscars given out during World War II were made of wood.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I wonder if there's any around anymore.
Oh, I bet someone's got some. They're probably worth some
cool.
moolah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, that's all I got for this week.
All right, that's great. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. You can like our Facebook page. We are boosting posts now, so like our Facebook page and recommend us and all that good stuff. You can rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen, and do it, please. Send in your stories. We want to hear them. GhoulsNightOutPodcast@gmail.com. Anything. Funny, scary, creepy, weird, anything. We like, seriously. Again, if it's rude, we'll take it. I'll read it. I don't care. Tell us how much we suck. Or don't. Tell us how much we
Don't suck.
don't suck. Yeah. Send something in. GhoulsNightOutPodcast@gmail.com. And we will talk to you next week.
Later.
Bye.